Just some quick thoughts for the new year. Well, their new year, but it's still a new year. A calendar new year. Anyways, going into this new year, now is not the time to fall back. Now is not the time to get weak. Now is not the time to question and doubt yourself. Now is the time to stay strong, disciplined, and consistent. For what is in store for this year? You think 2020 was something, 2021 is going to be something else. You're going to need to put on your God demonic powers. You're going to need to be more in control of yourself. You're going to be challenged in so many ways in this physical world that you live in, that without the power of your God demonic self, without trusting yourself, without knowing yourself, without overcoming your shadow, overcoming your most grotesque parts, and learning how to use the grotesque parts in your life, not shunning it, running from it, or putting your nose up to it, as many people do on the right-hand path, but actually encountering and working deeply within your shadow. You're going to face a lot of shit that's going to make you weak, want to give up, and want to become a slave again, run right back into the matrix. That's what is occurring in this new year, and we already get the taste of it. If you keep paying attention to the news and they keep jumping from this discussion to that discussion, there's a narrative that you're not focusing on. The narrative is that's part of the distraction. The true narrative is mastering yourself, being in control of yourself, being strong, being disciplined, being ready, and mastering those weaknesses and turning those weaknesses into a strength. Because without that, you will face challenges that will make you want to give up, make you want to be a slave, and live fully back in the matrix. I've seen it for far too long. People say, oh, I'm coming back, I'm taking a break. They never come back. And there's a reason why many of them never come back. Because in the challenges they face in the rituals, in the challenges they face in dealing with themselves, the noise gets so loud that they'd rather ignore it than work through it. That happens a lot. This new year, 2021, as I shared before in some of my private classes, this new year my work is to dismantle the spookism that is found in much of our work on the left-hand path. When I mean the spookism is how many will claim that we're supposed to deify ourselves, become an individuated consciousness, but yet worship these demons, worship these archetypes as if they're real. There's atheists, there's theists, there's Gnostic, agnostic, there's all kinds of definitions for where your little compartment is and how nice and neat it fits your life. But the one compartment that people run from, hide from, and don't want to deal with is mastering self. And in that process, you realize you are the only God that is. You are the only one that's in control. You are the one that has power. And thus, when you truly deify yourself, you separate and detach yourself from all things external that you rely on to get power in your life, when the power's already been yours. It's always been yours. But instead, we go through a process of self-doubt, self-denial, because it doesn't fit into this compartment we created of what things should be. So when it challenges us, we fade away. A true God demon will step up to the challenge and say, no, I'm not going to listen to my weaknesses. I'm not going to listen to my doubts. I'm going to stick with this, and it eventually will all make sense, because through the work, it makes sense. It will be revealed to you. But the lack of work is a trap for failure. It's a trap to fall back into the old habitual patterns, fall back into the old belief systems that you're trying to separate and break yourself away from. That is the problem that many face. And unfortunately, I see it all too often. But it's 2021 now, according to their calendar. How long are you going to play the game of hide and go seek with yourself? How long are you going to be inconsistent then consistent? How long are you going to veer back and forth? It comes a time where you have to eventually make a choice and say, I'm going to stick with this work no matter what. The individuated consciousness that you receive, the gnosis of Set, will lead to an immortal mindset, immortality, to becoming greater than ever before, to becoming more powerful than you could imagine. Because you stop relying on the systems that have all been laid out for you, that have been given to you. And you start to create your own system. You start to understand the symbolism of why Set tore himself away from his mother Nut. It was an act, a symbolic act of being conscious and making a choice to not fall into the same systems that have existed, and being independent and free. See, people have a problem with that because then they'll find little weak arguments. Oh, but he still had to be raised by his mom. That's not the point. The point is, the symbol of tearing yourself away is the symbol, or is a act of freedom, the right thought process to free yourself from the old paradigm that you were born into. People don't want to do that because they'd rather stay a slave to society. They'd rather stay a slave to their weaknesses, which is even more important. They'd rather hide and bury their fetishes than deal with them, not realizing their fetishes are controlling them from the subconscious, causing you to do or make illogical choices because you're trying to ignore a very profound part of yourself. This is why the work is non-stop. It is a consistent day-to-day process that you have to be really invested in. And you have to go and do the work of destroying and abolishing the old paradigm. You have to destroy the old philosophical systems you accepted, the belief, the conscious community beliefs you accepted, the cultish mentality. All these things have to be destroyed. If it is not destroyed, then you will forever be in a cycle or a loop of your repetitive habits, bad examples of life, living things over and over. This is what people do quite often. They don't wake up from this. Stay strong, people. Stay committed to yourself. And let's take this new year to a whole nother level. Let's bring it to a level of empowering self on all domains. Let's take it to the level of being the individuated consciousness, of being the God and the demon over yourself. Tear yourself away from this matrix, from this society that you accept, and start to create your own existence. You can do it only if you're willing to tear yourself away from all these belief systems you've accepted to be real or true. You have the power, but you have to take control. This was just a quick public service announcement for the class. So we have a future class starting January 9th, the Vampire Magic class. The class of immortality is what I like to call it. How to become immortal in mind, in body, in spirit, and soul. Starts January 9th, next Saturday. You have to January 8th to sign up. The deadline is January 8th. People, this class is not about spookism. It's not about worshiping gods and demons. It's not about all the reliance on external workings. This class is going to be fully empowering the self, fully taking control as the self, and how to rule your life as a sovereign grand commander. Then on January 15th, is 15th, 16th? 15th, I believe, is the Klipothic, the Journey Through the Klipoth class, which is going to be very important for those who really want to get a foundation of the tree of Klipoth, but more so to deal with their shadow self. It's dealing with your shadow self on a whole nother level that most of these people who are doing shadow work nowadays are flufferizing it. You really want to understand working with the shadow, you got to go through your own 9 gates of hell. And in a retrospect, some will say 7 gates of hell, depending on what you're working with. You have to go through the 12 tunnels of Set. Some say 11. You have to go through the tunnels of Set. You have to make the journey within. The Klipoth class is going to really break through the shadow, break through the darkness of the self. Darkness not as in ignorance, darkness as in ignoring it and not understanding it. This is the time to take control. You have till that Friday, I believe it's January 14th, to sign up. That's the last day, the deadline date. These new classes are going to be amazing. For those who've taken the other classes, they know I give work. It's a lot of work. It's intense. We do lectures, we do discussions, but I'm not the kind of person that just likes to talk. I make sure that the work is done. I make sure that you have work that is all about you focusing on mastering yourself, working on yourself, internalizing, doing the work of the self. Okay? I'm not just going to talk and lecture for days and days on end and not give you real work to do. The real work is the one you do for yourself. The real work is the work you do that you journey within your subconscious mind. The real work is when you tap into the 11 Klipoth. That's the real work. The Klipoth, the different shells of the Klipoth, when you journey through each one. That's the real work, but are you committed and disciplined enough to go through? People, this is going to be a class on a whole nother level. This new year, I will have a website done, hopefully by February. The website is going to be on a temple academic course-like structure. It's going to be very structured. It's going to have recorded classes. For those who want to take the older classes, it's all available there. Plus, it's going to have live classes for the classes that are taking place at that time. It's your choice. This new year, we're going to another level. All of us should prosper. Do not fall for the crap in the external world. You can still prosper if you know how to prosper. If you know the blockages and obstacles you have and you overcome them, you will start to prosper. Let's get it popping. It's not time to look back. It's time to look forward. And going forward, you gotta make choices. Am I gonna be jumpy and not disciplined, or am I gonna get back on it and I'm gonna be disciplined and I'm gonna stick through this to the end? Those who rode the Luciferian class, it was over 6-7 month class. Y'all did it. Tomorrow is the last class. If you are in that class and you did not take care of your payment, I don't want to see you in the class till your payment's taken care of, because one thing I do not play is people not take care of their responsibilities. Make sure your responsibilities are taken care of. If you want to switch to the vampiric class, that's fine. You can switch now, and I'll see that, and you'll still be allowed into the Luciferian class, the last class. It's the last class. You don't want to miss it. All right? These classes are ready to go. Halfway through the year, let me make this announcement. Sometime in the summer, I will be having a left-hand path African magic class, where we'll be dealing with African magic from a left-hand path perspective, not a traditional African perspective. So do not bring your traditional mindset into it. It's a left-hand path African magic class. I will be doing that probably starting in June. Look forward to that. I look forward to many of you all being in that class. I'm just making an announcement now for June. Okay? We will have a left-hand path sex magic class sometime in June as well as any other classes I can consider bringing up. We will do that. This is going to be a new year for the new year. It's going to be a new year for prosperity, immortality, empowerment, and success on all levels. So I hope to see y'all there. All right. I hope to see y'all at the class tomorrow, the last Luciferian class tomorrow. And then I hope to see y'all next Saturday, July 9th, in the Vampiric Magic class. All right. Infernal blessings to all.